and welcome back to another episode of the Stat Sheet. You already know your boy Naj Gray and my boy AS Alex Singleton. Before we get into today's topic, we want y'all to subscribe to the page, follow us at the Stat Sheets podcast, turn on those post notifications, and tune in every week for some new content on basketball, football, and your favorite sports. With that being said, today's topic on the NFL world. Patrick Mahomes just lost to the Buffalo Bills by 3 points, 20-7. And it was a very controversial call that got Patrick Mahomes heated out of his body. In a way we've never seen him before. A lot of people don't I don't agree with Patrick Mahomes' actions per se. But Alex, how do you feel about the game and the call that led to Patrick Mahomes being so frustrated?
Well, I think as for the game, I think you can expect a close game between the Bills and the Chiefs. We've seen it past few years. Um, and then as for the call, it's such a good game. It really was back and forth. I mean, both teams make mistakes. It's coming down to the wire, just like it has in the playoffs, regular season, and whatnot. And then the call itself erases what was a magical play, a fantastic play by Travis Kelce, right? And then you got the tirade by Patrick Mahomes, and you know it's annoying to watch as a fan because Mahomes didn't have a good game. Like he had an okay game, but he just had a bad year. It's been a down year for the Chiefs. I don't think he should be anywhere near the MVP talks. He hasn't played like MVP. He threw a pick in this game. He's thrown a pick in 3 of his last 5. He's got 11 picks on the year. And he's talking about that call ruining the game. That call didn't ruin the game. If they played better, there wouldn't even be a conversation about that call. If they played better, they would have had the lead already, right? And then to go on this tangent in the post game, you got Josh Allen shaking hands at the end, and all you want to talk about is the call straight to that man's face. I mean, that's so childish to me. It's selfish, and I get it. It's the heat of the moment, but we can think about how Josh Allen lost the game to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs without even getting to touch the ball in overtime. He just lost straight up, and you could imagine Josh Allen being frustrated about that. But it's not like he goes up to Patrick Mahomes and complains about what happened in the game. You just gotta suck that up for a minute and show some sportsmanship. But the call itself is not a bad call. That's just what it was. He was offside, lined up offsides. I mean, you get taught that as a kid, in high school. You get taught to check with the ref if you're lined up properly. And according to Andy Reid, Kadarius Toney never checked. He wasn't lined up how he should have been. He was lined up in the neutral zone. And just because it's a fantastic play, which it was, I mean, it had me excited in the moment, but just because it's a fantastic play doesn't mean that call shouldn't be called, right? Maybe it's happened before where they don't call it. They were looking for a warning. I mean, it's the National Football League. You don't get warnings. I mean, you see the same thing with like delay games, right? Like when it comes down to 0 and they're like, oh, well, we let it go for another second. It's not how it should be. There is no warnings. There's set rules, and you just gotta take the blame. Kadarius Toney had a bad year, and he makes bad plays, and he just made a bad decision right there. That's not what cost them the game. They had more downs after that. It's not like that was a 4th down play. They had more chances after that play, and they couldn't capitalize. So, was it a bummer for them? Yeah, but rules are the rules. They lost for more reasons than just that play alone.
You said a couple of things I disagree with. You said that Patrick Mahomes is not an MVP this year. I think he has played like an MVP. Because when you think of MVP this year, I think the list is very short. And you think of the guys that have outplayed him, it's probably 2 or 3, in my opinion. Dak's on that short list. But I think Lamar's on that short list, but it's a very short list. I put him in top 5. I definitely think he's in the debate. I think if he has that wide receiver 1, and if a lot of these guys didn't sell him, I think that, he'll be firmly in that position. And I think that these guys probably will have like 1 or 2 losses on their record. You know how that goes. So I disagree with that. And two, I think that yes, it was the right call to make, but I don't like the call. It's Kadarius Toney was offsides, right? You were always taught that since a kid, and you are a professional. I mean, professional in every sense of the word. Technically, he is, but he was lined up offsides all game. It's multiple times where Kadarius Toney was offsides and no one said anything. I'm 100% sure the ref saw it. They're lined up right there. You see what he's doing and you don't call it. But the one time you do call it is on a potential game-winning touchdown and a spectacular play, heads-up play by Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the game today. Um, it's crap. I mean, I think it's BS. I think if you're going to call that, call it earlier, right? I don't think you call it on that play. And if you're going to let it slide all game, let it slide there too. So, but by any means, I mean, this game was a close game. It could have went either way. You're right. They did still have multiple plays after that where they could have won. Um, I just, these two quarterbacks played basically the same game. Josh Allen and James Cook were the only valuable pieces on that offense on Sunday. And Patrick Mahomes had about two other guys with Rice and Kelce valuable. So it was a close game. I mean, a great game nonetheless. I just think that if you're going to make that call, and I can understand why he's frustrated, right? I mean, in the moment, also coming off the field, all you did was make a play. You're not watching Kadarius Toney foot. You're not looking at film, right? You're locked in on the play. So he's not knowing what's actually happening. He's just upset that, hey, man, we worked our butts off to get here, and this is the result. It's not based off our play. It's off something as minor as that. And that happened all game. So I can understand he was upset. I definitely don't like the whining in front of Josh Allen. Hey, man, you've beaten Josh Allen for years. You won 2 Super Bowls. You've beaten Josh Allen countless times, and you beat Tom Brady. So and you're not even, it's not even arguably, you're the best quarterback in the NFL today. You're the face of the NFL. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard. But when you're passionate, and this is why I love it, it's a double-edged sword. I love it because it shows he's passionate about winning. And that's the kind of guy you want on your team. Wrong, right, right or wrong, the guy is going to fight for his teammates. He's going to play with passion, and he just showed it. I just wish he kind of showed it differently, especially to his rival in a sense, and a great team who simply outplayed them that game. So, and if anything, he should be mad at Kadarius Toney because Kadarius Toney did it all game. And that's how I feel on the topic. Great game nonetheless. Great defense. One of the best defenses in the league by Kansas City. Hopefully they get these offensive struggles flowing, get them out the way so they can be that Super Bowl team that we know they can be. Because right now, I'm sorry to say this, but the Ravens are looking like the best team in the AFC. So
Yes. Got Najee's respect.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I'm an OBJ fan. I took my guy Roquan Smith. It hurts to see him over there doing great things nonetheless. But I don't see a team in the AFC beating y'all. I mean, in the NFC, I can see a couple of teams just simply because of the elite defenses. But as far as the AFC goes, it's not a team beating y'all. But great matchup, and I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes and Kadarius Toney learn from those mistakes and just get on to the next game, man. You're still in this. You still want to be in the playoffs. You still got a shot at the Super Bowl. Hurry up and fix those errors before it's too late and stop lingering on those bad ones.
Yeah, I think part of his frustrations probably come from his wide receiver play.
Hmm?
I'd be frustrated too with like Darius Toney because between the penalty, the drops, the miscues, it's got to be frustrating. And the Chiefs, like you said, they don't look like the contender that they're supposed to be. Obviously, they'll get there to the playoffs, but don't look now. But the Broncos are 1 game behind them in that division, and anything could happen. Do I think that'll happen where the Broncos overtake them? No, but anything could happen. And, hopefully they can. Well, actually, no, I don't hope they can figure it out because let's go Ravens. But, just I understand what you're saying about the refs should call that all game. And, Andy Reid said he was looking for a warning. He said he usually gets a warning before that. Well, maybe that was the warning. They weren't calling it all game. And, in that moment, they can't allow it. Either way, the refs have caught a lot of heat, and, deservedly so most of the time. But I mean, the rules are the rules, right? You got to line up properly. You got to check. And maybe that's why they didn't let it go, because he didn't even check with the ref. You have to check with the ref, make sure you line up properly. And, whether that cost them the game or not, they had more opportunities and they let it slip away. But I just didn't like the selfishness. I love the passion, right? But I don't like the selfishness in front of your competitors. It's just like when you're kids and you all line up and give high fives. You got to show some sportsmanship, whether you're happy or mad. And, it is what it is.
It is. I mean, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. Um, and hopefully Patrick Mahomes and these guys do get it figured out. And I just love Patrick Mahomes just for not talking down on his guys, and he knows deep down inside that those guys are the issue. So as bad as that moment was, overall, great player and respect for him. But with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Stat Sheet. Tune in for more content. But until then, we out.